The Zveno project was an aviation project developed in the USSR in the 1930s, early 1940s by engineer Vakhmistrov and based on the use of a carrier aircraft carrying 1 to 5 fighters to increase their radius of action. The Zveno-SPB compound dive bomber complex created under this project took part in the first period of the Great Patriotic War. Work on the Link project began in June 1931 at the Research Institute of the Air Force under the leadership of Vladimir Sergeyevich Vakhmistrov. The tasks of the Link project were delivering fighter planes to distances beyond their range by fueling a long-range aircraft, increasing the range of escorting heavy aircraft by fighters based on it, taking off from it, and landing on it. Use of fighters as dive bombers for precise targeted bombing with such large bombs as a fighter cannot lift on its own takeoff. Facilitating the takeoff of an overloaded airplane by means of an auxiliary airplane. Fighters were attached to the wing and fuselage as well as under them. For this purpose, special rod pyramids and struts with attachment locks were attached to the carrier, controlled from the pilots. Suspended aircraft were attached at 3 points, of which the lock was at the rear point and the front 2 were released automatically. The baptism of fire of the Zveno-SPB took place on July 26, 1941, when, after a series of failures of conventional bombers who unsuccessfully attempted to bomb the Charles Bridge on the Danube, it was decided to use aircraft carriers. And the task was given to bomb the SPB oil storage tank at Constanta for inspection. The mission was successfully accomplished. The target was hit without losses. The enemy did not expect the Soviet fighters, taking them for his own. In the course of the air attack, the fighter bombers disconnected with a load of bombs from their carriers at a distance of 40 kilometers from the target, and after hitting the target returned to the airfield in Odessa, where they refueled and returned to Yevpatoria on their own. In connection with the successful demonstration of Zveno-SPB capabilities, on August 10, 1947 an air raid was made on the main target, the Charles Bridge on the Danube, through which in addition to troops also passed the Ploiesti-Constanta oil pipeline. For this purpose the fighters were additionally equipped with a 95-liter fuel tank to gain an additional 35 minutes of flight time. The attack was made by 3 carriers, but one of them had a breakdown and had to go back. The others fired the fighter bombers 15 kilometers off the Romanian coast. The fighter bombers carried out a successful pickup attack from an altitude of 1,800 meters and returned unscathed. A second air raid took place 2 days later, on August 13, 1941. This time there was no carrier failure and the fighter bombers were able to significantly damage the bridge. The fighters, after hitting the Romanian infantry near Sulin on the way back, returned without losses.